In today's fast-paced world, where every moment is filled with noise, constant chatter, and endless distractions, it's hard to imagine a life that is truly quiet. We live in an era where communication is instantaneous, information is relentless, and silence is often seen as an uncomfortable void to fill. Yet, what if the key to inner peace and clarity lies not in speaking more, but in speaking less? The ancient wisdom of Buddhism teaches us the power of silence, not as mere absence of sound, but as a mindful practice that brings us closer to truth, self-awareness, and deeper connections with others. In this video, we will explore the profound importance of silence and how it can transform our mental, emotional, and spiritual lives. So, let's pause for a moment and embrace the silence. Let it guide us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. The importance of silence in the age of constant communication. The first teaching on the importance of silence is not just relevant, but essential. To speak less is a profound lesson in simplicity, especially in a world where the noise of everyday life can overwhelm our minds and hearts. Yet, silence does not mean muteness. It calls for intentionality in our words, a conscious choice to speak with purpose, clarity, and mindfulness. One of the most memorable Buddhist stories that illustrates this principle is that of the Zen master who poured tea into a cup until it overflowed. When the cup could hold no more, he stopped, demonstrating a profound truth. Just as the cup can only hold so much tea, our minds can only handle so much information, so many words. When we fill our minds with unnecessary chatter, there is no space for contemplation or wisdom. Similarly, when we speak too much, we lose the opportunity to listen, to reflect, and to engage meaningfully with others. This story is a metaphor for the modern condition. We live in a time where silence is often seen as uncomfortable or even unnatural. We feel compelled to fill every moment with sound, whether it's through constant talking or the endless flow of digital information. Social media encourages us to share our thoughts at every moment, validating our existence through likes and comments. The constant pressure to assert ourselves, justify our actions, and be heard can lead to mental fatigue and emotional burnout. Yet, the Zen master teaches us a different way. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to be silent. Silence allows us to hear what is truly important. It provides space for introspection, contemplation, and connection. Take, for example, Mahatma Gandhi, one of the most influential figures in modern history. Gandhi often practiced silence as a form of self-discipline and spiritual reflection. During his numerous fasts, he would withdraw from speaking for days, listening deeply to his inner self and focusing his energy on the cause he was championing. His silence was not a withdrawal from the world, but an invitation to deepen his understanding and connection with it. In our own lives, we can find moments of peace and clarity when we choose silence over words. When we stop speaking, we make room for others to express themselves, for the world to reveal itself in new ways, and for our own thoughts to settle like sediment in a clear pond. Whether in a conversation with a loved one or in moments of personal reflection, silence can serve as a bridge, bringing us closer to understanding. The mind's restlessness, another core teaching, or to think less, brings us into the realm of mental peace. In today's world, we are constantly preoccupied with the past, worrying about what has already occurred, and anxious about the future, uncertain of what lies ahead. This unceasing mental chatter, much like the swirling of tea leaves in water, clouds our perception and robs us of peace. The Zen story of the swirling tea leaves beautifully captures this restless nature of the mind. Just as stirring the tea only makes the water murkier, constant rumination only adds to the confusion in our minds. But when we stop stirring, when we choose to let the mind rest, everything settles and clarity emerges. This is the essence of mindfulness, a core Buddhist practice that encourages us to observe our thoughts without attachment or judgment. By practicing mindfulness, we can begin to quiet the internal noise that constantly distracts us. One of the most valuable lessons in this practice is to embrace the present moment. We cannot change the past, nor can we predict the future, yet our minds often cling to both. By focusing on the here and now, we find a deep sense of peace and freedom. This mindfulness is not about ignoring our thoughts, but about observing them without being controlled by them. Consider the example of Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple. Jobs was known for his intense focus and ability to tune out distractions. In his personal life, he often practiced meditation to quiet his mind, seeking clarity in the midst of his demanding career. His ability to live in the present moment allowed him to make decisions that shaped the future of technology. Jobs' mindfulness was not just about finding peace. It was about bringing that peace into his work, creating products that were, in their own way, reflections of his calm and focused mind. In everyday life, practicing mindfulness can be as simple as focusing on our breath when we feel overwhelmed, or taking a moment to notice the sensations in our body. By being present, we cultivate self-compassion, allowing ourselves to accept what is without unnecessary worry or judgment. Desire and attachment, the final lesson, or reducing our need for more, is perhaps the most profound and challenging of all. Our society constantly reinforces the idea that we must have more to be happy, more success, more wealth, more relationships, more validation. Yet the Buddha teaches that desire is the root of suffering. The more we crave, the more we feel incomplete. But when we let go of this craving, when we practice contentment with what we have, we open ourselves to the fullness of life. Buddhist philosophy teaches the concept of enough. Enough is not a measure of quantity, but of sufficiency. It's the recognition that true happiness does not come from accumulating more things, but from realizing that we already have what we need. This teaching is counter to the prevailing mindset that tells us we must always strive for more, always reach for the next goal. Take, for example, Oprah Winfrey. Despite her immense wealth and success, Oprah has often spoken about the importance of contentment and gratitude. In interviews, she has shared how she practices daily gratitude, not for material wealth, but for the simple, unacknowledged blessings in life: health, family, and a sense of inner peace. Oprah's success was not built solely on accumulating more, but on understanding what truly mattered to her and living in alignment with her values. Her life exemplifies the Buddhist teaching of finding peace and happiness not through more, but through being satisfied with what is. This lesson resonates deeply in today's world of consumerism. We are constantly told that happiness lies just beyond our reach, in the next big purchase, the next promotion, the next big social event. Yet, as we chase after these external goals, we often find ourselves feeling empty and disconnected. True fulfillment comes from understanding that what we already have is enough. In our own lives, we can practice contentment by acknowledging what we already possess. We don't need more to be happy. We simply need to recognize and appreciate what we have. Whether it's a loving relationship, a job we enjoy, or our health, these are the things that bring us true happiness. By shifting our focus from what we lack to what we have, we can experience profound joy and peace. The practice of letting go, in a world that often encourages us to hold tightly to our desires, achievements, and opinions, the practice of letting go stands as one of the most powerful, yet paradoxical, teachings in both modern psychology and spiritual practices. Letting go doesn't mean detaching from life itself. Instead, it refers to the ability to release attachments that hinder our inner peace and joy. It's about embracing life as it comes, rather than forcing it to fit into a mold of our making. The act of letting go is the true key to peace because it allows us to stop fighting the natural flow of life, opening us to a deeper, more authentic existence. This concept isn't new. In fact, it has been emphasized in various spiritual traditions for centuries. Buddhist teachings, for example, encourage the practice of renunciation, letting go of worldly attachments to attain enlightenment and peace. However, the idea of letting go extends beyond material possessions and can include letting go of unhealthy emotions, past experiences, and expectations that we place on ourselves and others. Letting go of expectations, one of the primary areas in which we need to practice letting go is expectations. We are taught to envision a specific outcome for ourselves, whether it's a career goal, a financial target, or the perfect family. When our reality doesn't align with these expectations, we often experience frustration, disappointment, or bitterness. These emotions arise because we are holding on too tightly to the idea of how things should be, rather than accepting them as they are. Take the example of Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential figures in modern media. Oprah's story is a powerful testament to the importance of letting go of rigid expectations. Born into poverty, Oprah faced countless challenges, including a difficult childhood and career setbacks. However, rather than clinging to the idea of what her life should look like, she chose to let go of these expectations. Instead, she embraced the unexpected twists and turns of her life, allowing them to shape her into the person she is today. By releasing her need to control every aspect of her life, Oprah opened herself to the possibility of joy, success, and fulfillment beyond what she had initially envisioned. Oprah's journey of letting go exemplifies the power of accepting life as it comes, without clinging to expectations of perfection or control. Her career is marked not by the pursuit of a fixed outcome, but by the courage to adapt to changing circumstances and take advantage of the opportunities that came her way. By letting go of expectations, she found freedom, and through that freedom, she achieved a level of success that transcends what many would consider the American dream. Letting go of grudges and old hurts, another powerful area where the practice of letting go is essential, is in releasing grudges and old hurts. Many of us carry unresolved pain from past relationships, failures, or disappointments. These emotions can weigh us down, preventing us from experiencing the joy and love that life has to offer. The act of forgiveness, both of others and ourselves, is a central aspect of letting go. Consider the example of Nelson Mandela, one of the most revered leaders in the history of South Africa. After spending 27 years in prison, Mandela was faced with a decision: hold onto his anger and resentment toward those who had oppressed him, or choose to forgive and move forward for the greater good of his country. In his memoir, Long Walk to Freedom, Mandela reflects on the moment he realized that holding on to anger would only perpetuate the cycle of suffering. By letting go of his personal grudges and embracing forgiveness, Mandela was able to lead South Africa through a peaceful transition from apartheid to democracy. Mandela's capacity to let go of his past pain and not allow it to define his future is a testament to the transformative power of releasing negative emotions. It's not about excusing the wrongs done to us. Rather, it's about freeing ourselves from the burden of carrying that pain. When we hold on to resentment, we give the other person or situation power over our emotional well-being. Letting go, on the other hand, empowers us to reclaim our peace and move forward with our lives. This doesn't mean that letting go is easy. It's a process that requires time, introspection, and often a deep willingness to confront the pain we've been avoiding. But in the end, the rewards of letting go are immeasurable. Just as a person cannot carry heavy bags forever without feeling exhausted, we cannot hold onto grudges and old wounds without eventually being weighed down by them. Letting go of material attachments in a consumer-driven society, we are constantly told that more is better, that our worth is measured by what we have. But true peace doesn't come from accumulating material things. It comes from releasing our attachment to them. This doesn't mean that material possessions are inherently bad, but rather that we should be aware of how much power we allow them to have over our lives. One example that illustrates this principle is the life of Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple. Jobs was known for his innovative vision and his ability to see beyond the material world to create something truly revolutionary. However, Jobs' life also demonstrated the importance of letting go of material attachments. In his later years, after being diagnosed with cancer, Jobs reflected on how much his material achievements mattered in the grand scheme of things. In his final days, he spoke candidly about how he would have traded all his wealth for more time with his loved ones, highlighting the fleeting nature of material possessions. The concept of letting go of material attachments can also be seen in the minimalist movement, which advocates for decluttering both our physical and mental spaces. By letting go of excess possessions, we can create room for more meaningful experiences, relationships, and personal growth. It's not about rejecting material things altogether, but about recognizing when they start to interfere with our well-being. Letting go of the need for external validation, another attachment that many of us struggle with, is the need for external validation. We often tie our self-worth to how others perceive us, whether it's through likes on social media, accolades at work, or praise from our friends and family. This constant need for approval can lead to a never-ending cycle of seeking validation from others, which can leave us feeling empty when we don't receive the affirmation we crave. This is evident in the life of Lady Gaga, a pop icon who has openly discussed her struggles with self-acceptance and the pressures of fame. Lady Gaga's transformation into the person she is today was marked by her journey of letting go of the need for external validation. She began to focus on self-expression, authenticity, and her own inner voice, rather than trying to please others. This shift allowed her to create music and art that was deeply personal and meaningful, not driven by the desire to meet others' expectations. By letting go of the need for external validation, Lady Gaga found a sense of inner peace and strength. She no longer relied on the opinions of others to define her worth, and this freedom allowed her to truly express herself. Similarly, we all have the ability to let go of the need for validation and to instead cultivate a sense of worth that comes from within. Letting go of fear and control fear is one of the strongest forces that holds us back from experiencing peace. Whether it's fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of the unknown, our attachment to fear can prevent us from taking risks, exploring new opportunities, or living fully. The desire to control everything around us is often driven by fear. Fear of uncertainty, fear of losing control, and fear of not being enough. A powerful example of letting go of fear and control comes from the life of Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Group. Branson has often spoken about how he embraces the unknown and takes risks in his business ventures, even when the outcome is uncertain. He attributes much of his success to his willingness to let go of the need for certainty and control. By embracing fear and uncertainty, Branson has been able to achieve groundbreaking success and create a legacy of innovation. Letting go of fear doesn't mean that we will never feel afraid, but it means that we stop letting fear dictate our actions. It means choosing to face the unknown with courage and trusting that, even if things don't go according to plan, we will be able to adapt and grow. As we've seen today, silence is not merely the absence of sound, but a profound practice that allows us to connect more deeply with ourselves, others, and the universe. In a world that constantly urges us to speak, express, and perform, silence provides us the opportunity to listen, reflect, and grow. From the Zen master's simple act of pouring tea to the wisdom of figures like Gandhi and opera, silence holds the key to clarity, peace, and genuine connection. By letting go of the noise that surrounds us, we create space for deeper understanding, healing, and transformation. Remember, in the stillness, we find the answers we seek, not through endless words, but through the quiet moments that allow our minds to settle and our hearts to open. So let us take a step back, embrace the power of silence, and cultivate a life filled with peace, purpose, and profound insight.